Welcome in, everyone. I hope you guys are doing great wherever you're watching from today. We have some big news to share about Russia, Ukraine, the United States' involvement in the ongoing war between the two countries. We know things have been getting bad. We know things are not on a good path whatsoever, but it appears we will now take another massive escalation up a step up the escalation ladder as President Donald Trump has reportedly signed off and ordered in assisting Ukraine with long-range, devastating strikes deep into Russian territory. That is right. You heard me correctly. President Donald Trump reportedly has signed off and greenlit attacks that will be carried out deep inside Russia with direct United States assistance to the Ukrainian military. And of course, that would, the Ukrainian people. This situation continues to get crazier and crazier. It kind of seemed like it was going away, but now we are really on the fast track for this to pop off in a huge, huge way. Before we get into exactly what is happening, please make sure to like and subscribe. Totally free, costs you nothing at all. Huge, 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 huge boost to the channel. So please do that for me. Comment with your thoughts below. How do you want to see President Donald Trump handle the Ukrainians? How do you want to see President Donald Trump handle Russia? How do you want to see this war come to an end? Do you even think there's an end in sight? Let me know in the comments below. Hit that bell, all notifications turned on. You won't miss a single thing. And then right here, Instagram, David_Hookstead, X, D Hookstead. That is where you can find me on social media. My DMs are wide open. If there's any information you want to send me, please send it there. I will look into it. Or if you just want to reach out and say hello, that's fine too. I love talking to you all. Now let's get into it. About 5 or 6 days ago, there was a report that went mega viral that the United States was going to send cruise missiles with a range of 1,500 miles to Ukraine so that they could use those missiles to strike deep inside the heart of Russia. Having missiles with a range of 1,500 miles puts all of Moscow in range, puts the Kremlin within range, puts every single Russian military base, not all the way out to the east. Obviously, you can't hit Vladivostok, but you can hit everything in the western part of the country. You can hit supply lines. You can hit troop movements. It's a game changer. I mean, that's just what it is. Giving Ukraine those kind of weapons is without a doubt a game changer. Well, it turns out that we're not just going to give Ukraine the weapons likely. Now, I want to be clear. The cruise missiles have not officially been signed off on. They have not shown up. That is still in the works. Probably will be done very covertly before they want to reveal to Russia what they have. So the Wall Street Journal came out with another bombshell report. I'm filming this on October 2nd. They came out with a report on October 1st, Wednesday night, that the United States is going to sign off on and directly help them strike deep within Russia. Usually I do a screen share, but I can't do that here. So I'm going to throw up the text on the screen for you all. It says, the U.S. will provide Ukraine with intelligence for long-range missile strikes on Russia's energy infrastructure, American officials said, as the Trump administration weighs sending Kyiv powerful weapons that could put in range more targets within Russia. So we are directly going to assist the Ukrainians with blowing up oil production, oil refinery, oil pipelines. Of course, the Russian economy, as we all know, is deeply tied to oil. That is how Vladimir Putin makes his money. That is how Vladimir Putin stays in power. That is what the Russian economy and war machine runs on, is oil. So they are going to start blowing up Russian energy infrastructure, Russian oil. It says President Trump recently signed off on allowing intelligence agencies and the Pentagon to aid Kiev with the strikes. U.S. officials are asking NATO allies to provide similar support, these people said. The expanded intelligence sharing with Kiev is the latest sign that Trump is deepening support for Ukraine as his efforts to advance peace talks have stalled. So that is true. Remember, we tried to talk to Putin. We tried to pursue a diplomatic route. That obviously has not worked. So as I've talked about in previous videos, this is a 180 pivot. We are no longer talking. We are now in the process of ramping this up and really going for the goal. It says it is the first time officials say that the Trump administration will aid Ukrainian strikes with long-range missiles against enemy targets deep inside Russian territory. Like I said, game changer. While the U.S. has long assisted Kiev's drone and missile attacks, the intelligence sharing means Ukraine will be better able to hit refineries, pipelines, power stations, and other infrastructure far from its borders, with the goal of depriving the Kremlin of revenue and oil to sustain its invasion. What did I just say? Their whole economy, their whole country runs on oil. That's what it is. And they want to take that oil out. They want to destroy that oil. They want to destroy the revenue stream. It's no different than when you blow up drugs coming from a drug cartel because you want to take the money they would have made from it away from them. Money is king. Money drives everything. It says the U.S. is also weighing deliveries of Tomahawks and Barracudas and other American-made ground and air-launched missiles that have ranges of around 500 miles, other administration officials said. No decision on what to send, if anything, has been made, officials said. So that's part one. I'm going to throw part two up here on the screen for you. We'll keep going here. So obviously, as you can tell, this is a huge deal. This is a huge step up the escalation ladder. Give me 1 minute. Got my morning energy drink. Says the intelligence combined with more weapons could have a far more potent effect than Ukraine's previous strikes in Russia, causing greater damage to its energy infrastructure and tying up Russian air defenses. Because believe it or not, guys, you might not know this, but Russia actually has significant air defenses. They've got the S-400. Now, do they have the capability to shoot down stealth fighters or a B-2 or a B-21 stealth bomber? Probably not. Can they shoot down incoming missiles? They're certainly going to get some of them. The question is, can you overwhelm their air defense system in order to make sure some at least get through? It says U.S. officials are waiting written guidance from the White House before sharing the necessary intelligence. One official said a spokesperson for the DIA said he couldn't comment on ongoing or active intelligence operations. A spokeswoman for the CIA declined to comment. The administration recently approved the sale of to Ukraine of extended range attack munitions and air-launched missile that can travel between 150 and 280 miles. Tomahawk cruise missiles, one of the most precise U.S. weapons, have a range of around 1,500 miles. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky revealed last week that he asked Trump for Tomahawks. Vice President J.D. Vance on Sunday said that the U.S. was considering Ukraine's request. All right, we'll put the last part of this report up on the screen for y'all. It says the approval to provide additional intelligence came shortly before Trump vented his frustration with Russian President Vladimir Putin in a social media post last week, announcing that Ukraine could recover all of its seized territory. U.S. officials have said Trump had previously said Ukraine couldn't win the fight without being able to strike inside Russia. Ukraine has been carrying out drone attacks inside of Russia for years, but the Trump administration has limited its use of the most powerful weapons and the intelligence it shares. The Trump administration stopped new deliveries of the Army Tactical Missile System, or ATACMs, or ATACMs. If I butchered that, let me know in the comments below, which had initially been sent to Ukraine under the Biden administration. The Pentagon imposed a review process for each time Ukraine wants to use them. The veto has prevented Kiev from launching U.S.-supplied ATACMs, which have a range of 190 miles into Russia since late spring. On at least one occasion, Ukraine sought to use the missiles against a target on Russian territory, but its request was rejected. All right, so I'll get this off the screen. This is huge. There's no other way to sum it up than to say this is huge. This is a big deal. The United States is now directly going to use our intelligence to help Ukraine carry out long-range, devastating missile attacks inside of Russia. Now, let me see if I can pull something up for you, put this on the screen. I know we've talked about this before, but I'm just going to do it again for anyone who's unaware of what we're talking about here. This is a cruise missile. So this is an old one. It's from 2002. So if you've never seen a cruise missile before, this is what Ukraine wants. This is what the U.S. is going to send them. Varying reports on whether or not we've already signed off on it or not. So this is what they look like. These are from a variety of different countries. But cruise missiles, the entire point of them is that they can fly long distances, fast. They can even fly low under radar coverage if necessary. They are incredibly, incredibly, incredibly advanced weapons. They are nothing to mess around with. So the United States is going to give Ukraine the intelligence to use these long-range weapons to blow up Russian oil facilities, Russian oil production, Russian pipelines, refineries, to cut off their money. This is a play that is meant to weaken the economic state of Russia. Question is, how is Russia going to respond to this? Because I can guarantee you, Russia is not going to let its refineries and everything get blown up and not respond. What you will likely see Russia do is launch devastating counterattacks. And you will see more bloodshed and more death. But you will also see the stakes on both sides get raised. It is a classic escalate to de-escalate move. You're trying to bring the Russians to the table because we tried the polite diplomatic approach and it didn't work. It just didn't work. You can say whatever you want about Putin. You can say whatever you want about Zelensky. You can say whatever you want about Trump. Doesn't matter what your thoughts on them are personally. The reality is we met with the Russians, we met with the Ukrainians, we met with Europe, and it didn't work. So at the end of the day, you've got to try something else. And now they are going to share intelligence directly with the Ukrainians in an attempt to make sure that these missile strikes deep inside Russia at Russian economic targets like the energy production are successful and work, and thus are likely going to be incredibly devastating. It is crazy we got here compared to where we started, because where we started was we're not going to get involved. We're going to leave, or we're going to get a peace done real quick. We're going to get a deal brokered. None of that happened. No deal was reached. Putin essentially would say one thing publicly and then launch terrible, devastating strikes, just talking out of both sides of his mouth, or not even really that. He was just saying things and then doing the complete opposite. So now the United States has chosen a different path forward, if you will. And that path forward is going to result in a lot of people in Russia getting surprised by what's coming if these missile strikes are as devastating as they appear to be. So we have a long way to go. We are not near the end. We are really probably in the middle of this saga, if I had to guess. But they are escalating to de-escalate. Trump is pissed. The U.S. is pissed. NATO is pissed. The Ukrainians are most pissed of all. So we will see how this goes, but I want to know what you guys think. Let me know in the comments below. What do you think of this move from the Trump administration? What do you want to see Trump do? Please make sure to like and subscribe. Totally free. Cost you guys absolutely nothing at all. Huge boost to the channel. Hit that bell. All notifications turned on. You won't miss a single thing. And then right here at the bottom of the screen, Instagram, David_Hookstead, X, D Hookstead. That's where you can find me on social media. DMs are wide open. Reach out with anything you have. I'll see you all next time.